Well, good morning, friends. It's Crazy Cheap Chick. I'm going to do things just a little bit different this week. I usually start with my grocery haul, but today I want to start by talking about how much should we really be spending on groceries. I know I'm always asking myself, am I doing good or am I spending too much? How do you know? Well, actually, the United States Department of Agriculture puts together some charts, and I took the time this week to look them up. I hadn't looked at them in quite some time. And they have something that they publish called the Thrifty Food Plan. And that one is really low. And then there's a second chart that shows averages for families that will show thrifty, low, moderate, and high. I'm going to put those charts up so you can take a look at them and compare yourself. Let's start by looking at the Thrifty Food Plan. This is put together by the Department of Agriculture, and it's from June of 2025. As you can see, they break it down by age and gender, so you have to add up everyone in your family to come up with a weekly or monthly amount. For example, John Wayne and I would be $116.40 per week, or $504.30 per month. I'm not positive, but this is probably a chart that they use to calculate food benefits if you receive something like supplemental nutritional assistance. The second chart the USDA publishes shows the cost for a single person, couple, or a family of four, and they break it down beyond just the Thrifty Food Plan. They also show low cost, moderate, and liberal. And most weeks and months, I usually fall around the low cost plan. But it's nice to have something like this to compare yourself to see how you're doing. I spent $112.86 pre-tax. A couple of things I bought are not grocery items. But let's go through real quick what I got and what we plan on eating this week. I got this half and half for $5.49. This frozen broccoli is $1.25 a package. I got 2 packages of that. They had the Caesar salad kit marked down to $2.25. The cheese was on sale, $2 a package. I got 3. And I needed this sinus medicine. It's the whole reason I went to the store this morning, is I am so congested and miserable. And I thought we were out of sinus medicine and that I needed to go up there and get sinus medicine. And then I get home and I saw a package of sinus medicine on the counter where I'd left it. So apparently I wasn't out. I broke down and bought this Smart One slow roasted turkey breast for $2.49. This is probably going to be my lunch today. I just feel so miserable. I don't feel like cooking much. I had to get some deodorant for John Wayne. It was $2.99. 2 of these salad dressings, they were $2.49 each. I usually make my own salad dressing, but John Wayne loves Thousand Island. And since we're on the keto kind of diet, it's not really keto, it's just low carb. I went ahead and got him his favorite kind of salad dressing. 3 things of Noosa yogurt. These are kind of high carb. We're going to have to limit it. The reason I bought it is they're on sale this week, 3 for $5. So 2 of them rang up $1.67 and 1 rang up $1.66. And I just wanted to stock up a little bit more while they were on sale. Now, I found this chicken for $3.87, marked down from $5.97. Actually, they had big packages of chicken for $2.99 a pound. And it just felt overwhelming to me to have to repackage that chicken. And sometimes when I see those gigantic chicken breasts, I think, can that be healthy? What did they pump those chickens full of? So I got this one for $3.87, this cream cheese for $3.99. This broccoli was $3.18. I'm going to make a chicken dish with broccoli as a side, and it's going to have a creamy sauce with it. They had this choice beef top round. It had been $21.14. Who's paying that? Who can afford $21 for this amount of meat? It's marked down to $3.52. I will get more than 1 meal out of it. But one meal I'm going to make is broccoli stir fry with riced cauliflower. And this riced cauliflower was on sale this week. I think it was $1.99. Then I got another package of the marked down chicken. It was marked down from $5.71 to $3.70. And some peppers. And so I think we'll probably have fajitas. I also got 3 red net bags. The peppers were $1.50 for 3. These tomatoes were $1.50 for all these tomatoes. And $1.50 for all of these avocados. Now, I'm still mad at Dylan's for taking away the 99-cent, but they are putting a little bit more in the bags at least. Also bought some more romaine lettuce for $1.84. Probably have tacos. We have tacos almost every week, and I have hamburger in the freezer. Still have onions, so tacos is an easy meal. Then I got this hamburger on sale for $5.97. It's normally $9.99. It is 21 ounces, so 1.3 pounds. 2 of these hamburgers, I will make like a hamburger steak with some mashed cauliflower. And then 2 of the hamburgers, I think I'll make a sauce for this spaghetti. Now, this spaghetti was expensive. It's a high fiber, low calorie, 55% less net carbs spaghetti, and it was $3.99. But for me, low carb, the hardest thing is giving up pasta because I love pasta. So I'm going to try this pasta. Hopefully it tastes okay. So we'll probably have some spaghetti. This cauliflower was $3.49, and like I said, we'll have this hamburger steaks and mashed cauliflower one night. Then here's some more of the red net bags, $1.50 for all these limes, $1.50 for some mini cucumbers, and a package of these mini cucumbers was $5, so I guess $1.50 isn't horrible. I did buy these cherries for $3.91. It was a little, they were $3.99 a pound. I was trying to keep it to a pound. I got some celery for snacks for $2.39. There's a bag of apples for $1.50. And this little package of potatoes for $1.50. These are normally $4.99. And 2 more of the rice cauliflower. And like I said, I think they were on sale for $1.99 this week. So that will get me by for a few days. Things are going up. In fact, one thing one of my friends at the grocery store told me was, hey, I'm just going to let you know there's probably not going to be as much clearance because we've been told to order less. And I said, is that because people are buying less? And she's like, well, I don't know, but it's supposed to save the company a ton of money. So I am guessing if you're ordering less, it's because people are buying less. And they have to at these prices. They have to stretch our dollars. Here is today's lunch. Some salad and one of these Smart ones. And why does the food never look like the packaged food? If I wasn't so sick, I don't know. Tonight we're having riced cauliflower and beef broccoli stir fry. Lunches are made, and now I'm going to get started on dinner. I'm going to use this chicken. Chicken, broccoli, potatoes, pretty good. I have an egg and some cheese and a tiny cup of cherries. Since I'm sick today with an upper respiratory infection, I'm going to treat myself to some low-carb spaghetti. Forcing myself to eat this breakfast this morning. This high-protein yogurt with some blueberries. I got this yard art today. It was $3. It looks really old, and I kind of like the patina on it. I don't know. I thought it was worth $3. And I got this dragonfly art for $1.50. I think John Wayne thinks I'm kind of old lady junking it up, but yar who yar. And I got this flag holder for 50 cents. I went to buy one of these this spring, and they were outrageous, and I wouldn't spend it, so I finally found one. I only went to a couple of garage sales this morning. Found this wok. They had put $8 on it, which I thought was kind of high. And she's like, well, you know, brand new. It doesn't really matter what things cost brand new. Anyway, I offered her $5 and she took $6. It's not really what I want. What I want is an all stainless steel wok. And I spent about $25 at Goodwill. I mainly went there to drop some stuff off, but I ran through there real quick in about half an hour. And I did find this J. Jill top. Really like it. And it was $4.20 with my discount. And these kind of sleep shorts, I guess I would call them, for $5.05 with the discount. This is probably my best deal right here. It's a gigantic tablecloth. Been kind of wanting to replace this one. It's getting pretty faded. Paid $4.20 for it. And I don't know if you've looked at tablecloths recently, but they are extremely expensive. 2 of these bamboo lidded containers for $3.18 each. And 2 bike wheel street strings. And I think I paid $1.92 each for these. Got a couple of grandsons. I think will really like those. Anyway, that's all I got at Goodwill. Well, friends, today I am in Branson, Missouri at the Lake of the Ozarks. And the reason that I'm here is because John Wayne serves on the board of a credit union. It's an unpaid position, and he does it as a community service. And once a year, he has to come down here for some training, and they have a board meeting, and there's some business that they have to attend to, and they do it here at this kind of fancy resort. And the credit union 100% pays for it. It doesn't cost us anything. And so I had received a couple of comments this week that, while they didn't upset me, it was something that people were misunderstanding. People would say things like, well, it must be nice to have enough money to travel all the time. It must be nice to go to Europe and then be able to turn around and go down to the lake. And I kind of wanted to clear that up. Not necessarily, the people who said it will probably not see this video. And when people say things like that, I never respond, because what's the point? But I wanted to explain something about going to Europe, because I call my channel Crazy Cheap Chick. How can Crazy Cheap Chick afford a European vacation? Well, let's talk about that, because it's important to understand this information. How do I afford to go to Europe? If I don't make any more money than you do, I'm middle class, I'm not wealthy. But I'm not hurting either. I'm not struggling to pay my bills, and I have enough to eat and a roof over my head. But how can I afford to go to Europe? Well, friends, it all comes down to the choices we make. And these are the choices that I make, and I hope you see them when you watch my videos. I rarely eat out. And a lot of my friends choose to eat out once or twice a week. Well, if you're spending between $30 and $50 every time you eat out, and that's really what it costs. Even at fast food places now, it's like $25 for 2 people, $25, $30. That adds up over a month to $300, $400, $500. If you took that money and put it in a savings account, you would have the money to go to Europe. I don't go to the mall. I rarely go shopping other than Goodwill or garage sales. First off, I just don't need that much. And I'm saving a lot of money by buying everything secondhand. And I generally spend, I don't know, probably $25, $50 a week at Goodwill and garage sales. But a lot of people would go to a mall and spend twice that. And they would have one item where maybe I've bought 10 items. The food that I buy is a lot of clearance food, a lot of, I work really hard to make sure I'm paying at retail for hardly anything. I buy everything on sale and clearance and plan my meals around that. So these are all choices that we make every day that add up. So if you don't go to the mall and buy a new dress for $200 and you only spend $50 at garage sales and Goodwill, well, then you save $150, right? And you start putting that in your savings account, and it adds up. I also work hard to just make little bits of money on my own. My YouTube channel is starting to make a little money, and I average, my best month has been about $400, but I'm averaging $100 to $200 a month. It's not a ton of money yet. But it's enough if I put it in a savings account. I can put that towards a trip anywhere I want to go. I also buy dresses at Goodwill for $1, turn around, take them to a fancy dress shop resell them, and I usually make about 25 bucks a dress. So I make about $100 a month reselling dresses. So all these little decisions that I make add up to where I can take a trip. It's not because I'm super wealthy. I am not. I don't have some huge bank account. I am semi-retired, and so I'm very careful with my money. I can't imagine going through Starbucks every day and buying a $5 cup of coffee. Those things just never even come into my mind. And so it's even things like Walmart. I rarely go to Target or Walmart. I have friends who go to Walmart every week or every other week, and it's nothing for them to spend $200 or $300. And I could do the same if I wandered around Walmart. I would find all kinds of things to buy, but I just stay out of there. That's why when I go to the grocery store, I usually buy anything I need at the grocery store, even if it maybe costs a buck or two more, because I know if I go in someplace like Target, I'll end up buying a new bedspread or new curtains or new shoes or all kinds of things. And so I just rarely go to those kinds of stores. Maybe once every other month or every 3 months, I'll make a Target or a Walmart run because there's certain things I just have to buy there. And of course, I make a lot of my own products. John Wayne uses store-bought deodorant. I make my own deodorant. I make my own toothpaste. There's certain things I just make myself. I make my own vinegar. I make my own vanilla. A lot of things I don't have to buy because I make them myself. All these little choices add up, and the benefit is you can spend that money however you want. You can either hoard that money and become very, very wealthy, or you can travel, or you can help others. You can help your family out. But we get to make the choices on how we spend our money. And then if we make the choice that, well, I'm just not going to pay attention when I go to the grocery store. I'm just going to run down the aisles and throw things in the cart. I'm going to go to the mall. I'm going to buy that Starbucks. I'm going to spend $300 at Walmart. All those things that people do, you can't turn around and be mad at someone because they managed their money maybe a little bit better than you, and they were able to afford something you weren't. It all comes down to choices we make. And I'm never going to point that out to people, but I had been thinking about it a lot this week because of those comments I got, and I just wanted to discuss it with you. I'll vent to you. I won't vent to the people who make those comments because it's really none of their business how I manage my money. And if they want to come to the wrong conclusion that I'm able to travel because I'm super wealthy, then I guess I'll let them think I'm super wealthy. But between you and I, I'm not rich. But, I'm middle class. I'm doing okay. I'm not hurting either. But never make assumptions about people. Some people just manage their money differently. And you can do all these things too and take a trip to Europe. Of course, I want to tell you a couple other things we did in Europe to save money. Of course, we played the credit card game, and our tickets to Europe didn't cost us a penny. We used our credit card points to pay for our tickets. So the airfare over there was $0. We stayed in an Airbnb, which was less than a hotel in London. And we went with another couple, and so we were able to split a lot of our expenses. And even in Europe, we ate breakfast at our Airbnb, and we packed our lunches or did those 5-pound meal deals. We only ate out once a day. And our friends, they're cheaper than us because they always split their meals. And so it's all about choices, people. You spend as much or as little as you want, and it's a personal decision. So just make sure not to judge others because you really don't know their finances, do you? Now, one other thing I want to tell you. John Wayne and I have decided it's life or death on losing weight, and so we're doing the low carb, high protein diet, and so you may see some changes in my buying patterns. And we did really well the first week. I lost 3.5 pounds, and John Wayne lost 6.6 pounds. That is really good for a first week. I'm sure every week's not going to be that great, but it was a really nice start. Oh, I told you if you stuck around all the way to the end, I'd tell you a funny story. Well, I have a neighbor couple that lives around the corner from me, and their names are Bob and Mary. And their daughter's really good friends with my daughters. We've known them for probably 30 plus years. In fact, their daughter works for John Wayne at his business. And every time I would go grocery shopping, I would run into Bob. And we would always comment on how we were on the same shopping schedule. And I said, we're going to have to be careful or our spouses are going to think we're having an affair. And I told his daughter this, and she's like, well, that's a really sad affair if it's meeting at the grocery store for 10 minutes once a week. And I'm like, yeah. And then I didn't see him for 2 or 3 weeks. And I thought, well, the affair is cooling down. And then I go to the grocery store and I see him across the produce aisle. And I get all excited, and not in an indoor voice, but in my outdoor voice, I scream, lover, lover, over here, lover. I don't know why I said that. And I don't know why I screamed it across a grocery store. And he turned around and looked at me, and then he came over and we talked. And I went home and I told my husband and I told his daughter, I'm like, I think I really embarrassed your dad. And I have not seen him at the grocery store since. So I think he's changed his shopping schedule to avoid me. So the affair is over. John Wayne and Mary are safe. It didn't go anywhere. So anyway, that's the story where I made a fool of myself that I thought you'd get a kick out of. Now, I hope that you spend your money wisely this week. Make some good decisions. I hope you find some bargains, and I'll talk to you again next week. I'll end with a little footage of the lake. Along this stretch of highway is this weirdness. I made John Wayne pull over so I could take a picture of it. Why would there be this giant, I guess it's John Kennedy statue here in the middle of nowhere? It's really weird. Really weird yard art, I would say. This is the resort we're staying at. It's called Chateau on the Lake. Just not something you see every day. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.